I've got cartridges, I've got discs, and they're all at home on the PC Engine. I'm your man out of Japan, Jay Contra, and if you'd like to see exclusive videos about Japanese game collecting, you can head over to my Patreon. I think the PC Engine is like, I've got like 4 PC Engine consoles and only about 17 games. It's a bit shameful. I need to get some more PC Engine games, but I thought I'd show off what I have. We're starting out with Street Fighter II, my only loose game that I have for the PC Engine. And it's rough simply because you don't have as many buttons as you should on the controller. There's only 2 buttons on the PC Engine controller, and that makes it really hard to play a fighting game. Then we have Sidearm Special, Sidearm's Hyperdrive. This I picked up, this was something as I was leaving Japan. I ended up buying a bunch of PC Engine games simply because I felt bad that I had this great system, but I didn't know much about the games. So I picked up a bunch of shooters, Sidearms being one of them. Oh, is this a poster? Oh boy, oh, whoa, okay. All right, this is new, I did not expect this. Wow, look at that, look at that. See, here's all your different shot types. Wow, yeah, oh, this is a game I really want to tear into. And then I love, this is when people were still getting used to the idea of CDs as a concept, not just for music, but for games as well. So it's telling you, don't write on your CD, don't scratch it, don't get it dirty, be careful when you wipe it. Great stuff. Great stuff. So Sidearm Special, it's supposed to be good. It's supposed to be good. It's one I haven't gotten around to yet. Psychic Storm, I have played Psychic Storm actually. This is by Lasersoft. This came out, this is a later release. Most of the CD games, when did the PC Engine CD come out? I want to say it was like 1990 or like, maybe even earlier, because the PC Engine itself came out, it's like, well, 87 or 88, I think. And there's, much like the Sega Saturn in Japan, I think there are still, to this day, a lot of PC Engine games, especially PC Engine CD games that are just locked away because the PC Engine never really took off in America. Not many people still know about it. And the CD is still such an esoteric system that I think there's a lot that we can still learn from the PC Engine. And you don't really see it talked about, but the games have actually retained their value. I don't think I've ever seen a PC Engine game actually decrease in value. Actually, a lot of them will even go up in value, like Summer Carnival 92. I bought this way back in the day because I'm a big fan of Nagsat and I love the other Summer Carnival 92. So I picked this up, and then it really shot up in price, and I'm not entirely sure why. Because I will be honest with you, I don't much care for All's a Dick. I think it is, if they had expanded upon it, if they had fleshed it out, it would have been a great single-player game, but because it's basically tournament software. The Summer Carnival was this event held back in Japan in the early 1990s. I know there's definitely 92 and 93. And it's basically, you buy this game, you practice it. It's just a loop of, I think, like one stage of vertically scrolling shooting. And then you would go to a tournament that was being held in your local city, and you would just try and get the highest score, do a time attack, something like that. But there's not a whole lot of game here. It's a really interesting history behind it, but not a ton of gameplay to it. I will be completely honest with you. Avenger is really fun. And I don't want to like talk down to All's a Dick. I think it's a good game, but you can play it for about an hour and I think get all you can out of that game, especially if you're like me and not very good at scrolling shooters. Avenger, however, has a really good single-player campaign to it, and I can recommend it. It's not that expensive even today. I think it's probably less than $20 depending on where you're getting it. Play as this cool helicopter. There's actually a couple of helicopter scrolling shooters. So I think, well, yeah, we should be able to get to Tiger. And never have I seen, aside from that Apache, I would say the Tiger is probably the second most famous helicopter, perhaps even the first outside of America. Yes, let's move Avenger aside. Really can't wait to dig into some of these, especially because I need to test and make sure that my turbo duos work. Yeah, let's get Akumajo Dracula X, Rondo of Blood. One of my favorite, if not my favorite, like pre-Igavania Castlevania. It is so good that it is, I just hate that this was limited only to the PC Engine. Really cool disc, very reminiscent of like the Neo Geo CD style of discs. Dracula. It's just Richter surrounded by ladies. Oh my God, I didn't even realize that until now. It's a really great game, fantastic music. I wish they would re-release this in some form, but I don't even think it's a part of the oh, please don't ban me, YouTube. Let's get that off there. Yep, there we go. It's not a part of any collection as far as I'm aware, except for the quasi remake that was included on the PSP. Was it Castlevania Chronicles? Or yeah, it's like Castlevania Chronicles X or something, but then you have to like have a PSP, and that's a whole thing where it's insane to me that one of the best games ever made is now locked to either the Turbo Duo or to the PSP, neither of which are really that easy to play. Silent Debuggers. This is a game that I just bought on a whim because it was really cheap, and now it's gone up to like $60, and it's a bit weird. And oh, this is the other thing that drives me nuts about PC Engine games is when you're looking at cartridge-based games, they don't really have screenshots on the back of the game. So when you're just casually browsing, how are you supposed to like know what's up with the game unless you have looked this stuff up previously? Silent Debuggers is a really weird shooter. You walk around a like derelict space station and there's aliens on it. And it's weirdly action. It looks almost like an action adventure when you look at the screenshots. Are we going to get any screenshots here? A little bit. So it's sort of like you don't really get to even look around the screen all that much. You're just kind of walking around this space station and hope you can do your timing properly with your weapons. Otherwise, you're going to get eaten by some really gnarly looking aliens. It is a fun game. I don't know if I'd give it the J Contra recommend, but it is actually, where's the cartridge? Yeah. I also love these Hue cards. Great little pieces of technology, and I hope these things last. I've never heard anything about bit rot happening to PC Engine Hue cards. This is another of my favorite shooting genre, the World War II era shooter, which I'm pretty sure this is. Let's actually, yeah, the city doesn't look World War II like at all, but all of the machines do. And then there's the, yeah, make sure this plastic case is not necessary to be considered complete for a PC Engine game, but it's nice to have. Gives you a little bit of extra protection from the humidity. Here's the Hagaki. If you're just joining my collection series, the Hagaki is a little piece of historical ephemera that was included in most games back in the 90s and the early 2000s. It's a little something you would fill out, a little survey, and you would send it in, and maybe you'd be entered into a raffle for a prize. What have we got here? Do we get to see any cool shooters? Or any cool screenshots? Yeah, it looks World War II-y. I've still got to pop this in. I think I popped it in for a minute to test it out and make sure it works, but I'm not entirely sure of the details of this game. Although look at all of those. I love those tank designs. That is so cool. And a little the L box. Oh man, that's so cool. This almost looks like Warhammer 40,000 tanks. I'm really looking forward to playing this game. It's gonna be so good. I think I'm just gonna have a month where I'm just gonna play PC Engine stuff, just so I can finally say that I've actually played all these games. Let's see. Oh yeah, Final Zone 2. This is how I broke in my original Turbo Duo. It's a pretty decent game, although I do have somewhat traumatic memories of this game because this is what I popped into my Turbo Duo to make sure that it worked. But then the sound cut out after like 5 minutes, and that's because the capacitors were going bad on it. So I swore I thought this disc was starting to rot because it got cloudy. But looking at it now, it actually looks pretty good. That's another thing. At least we have the PC Engine to tell us when our discs are going to start to go bad, because these things were coming out, years before the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation. It's also got some cinematics. This opened my eyes to early 1990s cinematics. It's got sort of like an anime style to it with full CD audio. it was revelatory. I didn't think they had that back in the early 90s, but they did. Yeah, they had a full cast of characters, sound effects, everything. It's a fairly good game. It's pretty much just your basic. It's not a scrolling shooter, but it's sort of like an action shooter, a top-down action shooter. It's okay. It's okay. We got RType I. I have played through RType I. This is a fantastic game, a shooter that I can recommend. Although I think it does eventually just get outclassed by the later games made by the same developer, such as like Polestar and is it like, I can't remember what it's like, Blazing Star. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the other ridiculously expensive Neo Geo game. But I'm pretty sure the same developers worked went from RType over to like Polestar. So yeah, it's so good. I love this little the ball accessory. It just makes you feel so cool when you've got like this second sun at your nose tip that you're using to blast the enemies. Next, we've got RType II, the sequel. Was RType an arcade game? It's starting to elude me. Oh yes, and this will often happen to the plastic little sleeves that are included with PC Engine games. It almost feels even kind of sticky, like the plastic is degrading. I don't know what's happening. It doesn't no, that's just the moisture from my hand. But it doesn't seem to be affecting this. Maybe someone in the comments can tell me if this is going to actually end up ruining the Hue cards. But for now, I'm going to keep it in just to protect from the elements. It does feel weirdly sticky though. I'm guessing it's like the chemical composition is just breaking down, because you figure these games are at least 30 years old now. So whatever aging process they're going through, it's now in full stride. We've got, oh no, we still got a bunch of games left. I can't believe P-47, again, another World War II era shooter. Who developed this? ICOM. Originally 5,200 yen back in, was probably like 89 or 90. Now it's even not that expensive today. It's like a $20 game. I bought this at Mandarake actually because it was the cheapest that I could find. It was like $25. Sold in pretty good condition. What else have we got here? Let's see if we can open this. Unfortunately, not many of these older games, anything pre-1990, doesn't seem to have screenshots in the game. Yeah, I find it just so terribly difficult to even get the manual properly. I don't want to like bend the manual or anything, so I have to be very, very careful when pulling these out of the jewel case. Oh, yes. So it's not even, it's horizontally scrolling. That's going to be so awesome. Yes, blowing up. Oh, yes. And I love that while I don't like water levels in games, I do like being a flyer and trying to blow up enemy aircraft carriers and battleships. That is the only water level that I actually like. Let's put P-47 away. Yeah, I can talk about the arcade card duo. I picked this up at a Super Potato. I want to say it's the one in Osaka. I picked it up because there are a few games. You need this card if you want to play games like Sapphire and a couple of other games that are CD-based, but they require like a little extra memory, a little extra kick in order for them to work. These, I don't think they're terribly expensive now. And really the only reason I bought it is because you can, through, let's just say falling off the back of the digital truck, play certain games for the Duo and the Duo R, and you just need the arcade card for them to actually work. And I don't believe the flash carts are able to mimic the arcade card Duo's properties, but someone in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong. Super Star Soldier is another game that I picked up as I was leaving Japan. It is another game that follows this convention at the beginning of the PC Engine's life, where this is true of the Famicom as well. Some developers were just numbering their games, thinking that, oh, well, there's no way we could possibly make hundreds of games for this system. And then they ended up doing exactly that. Superstar Soldier. I think there is a CD version of this as well. Oh, that's another one. Yeah, you can kind of see it's gone weird, like a brown, kind of yellow. You can see it through the white light that's to my right. The cartridge itself looks fine. It doesn't look like it's degrading it all or whatever's happening to this plastic. Feels less sticky on the inside, I guess. I don't know what's going on the outside of this. But here's the manual. Do we get, yes, we finally get some screenshots of Superstar Soldier. And I also love not just when they list all of the enemies, I want to see all of the bosses. It's, I think, the boss character design that makes or breaks a scrolling shooter. I don't know about that Scorpion one. I'm not a big fan of like animal-based mechs. Which is sort of why I'm going to spit hot fire here and say that I actually don't really like the Darius games all that much because I don't like the enemy design. Red Alert, it really looked like a sort of Contra or Heavy Barrel clone, so I had to pick this up. It was like 20 bucks for the CD-ROM 2. Nihon Lasersoft and it's a collab between Telnet and Lasersoft, so it's got to be pretty good. Another Hagaki, another survey. I wonder what would happen if you sent this in. I think it would be so cool to sort of hand that in to the company and see if they did anything. I remember there was this YouTube video of a guy who got a 1992 free pizza coupon from Pizza Hut out of his VHS copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he ended up being able to actually redeem it at a participating franchise. I thought that was cool. Love to do something like that one day. Red Alert, decent looking game, got to get into it. What is a great game, I can tell you from personal experience, is it's like QQ Tiger. I'm just going to call it Tiger. This has been ported to several different systems. I believe the PlayStation version is really expensive now. This should be it's Taito, but was this one of those Toaplan games, or is it just Taito? Then here, I'm not sure. Is this sometimes will come with PC Engine games? Does it go on the bottom or does it go on the top? I'm not sure. Great artwork. Love the Tiger helicopter. Wasn't the Tiger helicopter the one that was in James Bond? It's got like the special shielding that got like a stealth helicopter. I might be thinking of something else. Maybe the Tiger helicopter was just such a huge deal back in the early 1990s that it ended up showing up in a bunch of movies and games. Did someone just take a picture of the screen and put that into the publisher? Yeah, unfortunately, not a lot of great art on these games. That's what I'll give the Sega Saturn. At least the Sega Saturn's got some great artwork in its manuals. But this is also, one of the first gen of Japanese consoles. Still, besides the Famicom. So I can forgive the sort of the lacking manuals just because they're still trying to figure out how to actually make a manual good. Space Harrier by Sega, 1986, released 1988 for the PC Engine. I remember picking this up. I think I just picked it up because it was cheap. Played it through. It was pretty good, pretty wild. It's that sort of the combination of the 2D and the 3D kind of messed with my brain a little bit. I'm not going to lie. And then you've got a little Dom, a little mobile suit there. Can't believe that didn't get hit by copyright infringement from Bandai. Which I just learned recently that back in 97, Bandai and Sega almost merged into a single company. Wild stuff, just doing some research on the Sega Saturn. We'll end with Nagsat Soft's Alien Crash, a Hue card, originally priced at 5,200 yen. I think I picked this up for like 20 bucks at a hard off. I bought this because, for one, it's pinball, and pinball games are great. And I don't think I want to complete a Nagsat Soft collection, but I'd like to get as many of the sort of the lower grade, the non-$400 Hyper Duels, as many Nagsat Soft games as I can. There's some weird ones out there too. But as far as I can tell, this is just like pinball, but using a bunch of alien characters. Nagsat Soft, you might know as the developers of those two Summer Carnival games, 92, as well as Summer Carnival 93, Spriggan Powered, Hyper Duel. They've got some amazing games that they developed, and it's a real shame that they're not around anymore. I actually don't know who owns the Nagsat back catalog. That'd be interesting to know. But that has been this is my complete PC Engine collection. If you have any recommendations, I'd love to hear it. I really want to get more PC Engine games, especially the next time I go to Japan. I'm definitely going to be picking up some PC Engine games, if only to justify the 3 PC Engine Dual Rs that I have. I've been your man out of Japan, Jay Contra. Thanks for watching, and mahalo.